The Alchemy of a Sacred Warrior. This message is to help you realign with your highest destiny. Very important message here. We're going to be diving into what's blocking manifestation on your path, what's holding you stagnant, really, and how can we learn to return home inside, to return to the power. Let's do this thing, my friends. This is Reality Files. I'm Kristian, and I help people transition into soul-aligned sovereignty. If you want to catalyze your life, I encourage you to apply. Link in the description for a free one-on-one discovery call with me. Also, hit that like button and share this message with someone you think it will impact if you enjoy the content. First off, my friends, we need to take a broad perspective of this life. We need to zoom out. Right now, there's a lot of chaos happening. We're sitting in uncertainty and unknown, which creates fear. In my life, I'm going through a breakup right now. I'm going through, maybe my business has to completely transform again. I'm looking at the world and like, what is going on out here, right? There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. We're going to talk about how those emotions, energy, create the thoughts, create a holding pattern. But first off, my friends, we must zoom out. We must get back here. We must find some stillness, maybe do some breath work. Find stillness inside and zoom out and look at this life and ask yourself, am I living into my highest potential, my highest capacity, right? Am I walking that path? Or am I sitting here stagnant? Am I making progress towards the life I want to live? Truly, or am I sitting here, attached to a relationship that's not really serving, attached to these addictions, attached to this location, attached to these possessions, what all these things holding you back. We must zoom out and realize that solar warrior, that true destiny calling us through the mystery, through the rocky road, to that place of, alignment with that highest character, that most noble bearing. Alignment with, the true magic out here and our highest destiny. We must get that view. It's aspirational, my friends. You must remind yourself of that perspective. Because when you attain to that view, when you're doing breath work, when you're doing a meditation, when you're zooming out and not looking at these constant ups and downs of this life, but witnessing, maybe feeling the spirit dancing behind it all, looking at that higher perspective, that solar warrior lens per se, you're creating a field of consciousness, a field of energy, right? That is of a higher frequency. You're doing the breath work, you're doing the aspiration, you're creating this higher frequency of energy. Okay? This is going to correspond to different feelings or emotions and different thoughts and perspectives. It's going to reframe how you relate to your current circumstance. Right, hold on, let me grab a pen. Bum, bada, boom. We must reframe, my friends. Reframing. Why we must do this to start with is because in this life we're attached to many things. We're in the muck per se. When we come down from this elevated state of consciousness, this elevated view, all of a sudden we come back down here and it's like, oh, fuck, it seems like cataclysmic that, maybe you have to leave your job or get a divorce or, I'm separating from my girlfriend or these things can seem cataclysmic, right? And we got to realize that is simply energy being liberated. That is simply an energy field that is, kind of overwhelming our consciousness. And what we must do is simply deal with the emotions. We try to think our way out of everything in the West. We hate dying. We hate letting go. We hate surrendering. We have no faith anymore. We have no conviction in the universal will. We have no conviction in our highest destiny, in our true purpose down here. And because of that, right? Because of that, we can't die. We can't let go. And he who cannot die cannot be reborn. You cannot do the alchemical wheel, a solvet coagula. You cannot be an alchemist if you cannot dissolve a solution, dissolve an identity, right? So it's simply about releasing the energy and sitting and feeling the emotions. This is bringing you home, okay? I'm going to go through this cycle and how this works in a second here. But I want to draw our attention to the fact So this is home. It's where we must return to. Okay. In yoga, there's something called tapasya. I think that's how you say it. And it means that pain is purifying. In yoga, they realize that pain, or our perception of what pain is just the letting go of attachments so that we can actually return to that original freedom. I want you to think about, how it felt when you were a child. Each day was a freaking exciting adventure. You had limitless energy for what your heart wanted to do, right? Like you were so pure. Your instincts, your inclinations were so pure. The music flowed out of you, per se. You were in tune with your soul, right? As we grew up, we created more desires, instincts, intentions, right? We gave more things attention. We crystallized form. We got in a relationship. We got a job or a career. We started doing these things that we identify with, right? But we never learned how to let go. We never learned how to go into no tension, to let go into faith, to learn to surrender, right? For a lot of us in the West, anyway. We never learned how to do the emotional alchemy to create feng shui, the breath work, the breathing, to sit with those emotions and let the energy field pass. So tapasya is realizing that pain is purifying, that letting go of attachments and feeling and dealing with the emotions is purifying your consciousness and liberating energy. It's the fire that burns. Tapasya is the fire that burns. Letting go is the fire that burns. But the thing about it is we associate letting go with something painful. Okay? We associate letting go with something painful. And because of that, we resist it. We get more attached to the thing, right? And the more we do that, right, we don't let the fire burn. Maybe we run back to that partner we're trying to leave because, it's so painful without them at the beginning, right? We're not letting the fire burn. We're not dealing with the emotions. What's happening is the energy is creating emotions. It's creating thoughts of fear, of catastrophe, you are giving meaning to an event in your life. And your thoughts are the result. It's the reasoning behind the event. You are giving it to that, right? All circumstances, all events in life are basically neutral. They're neutral to the one who is at home, right? But we give it meaning. Oh, this is a catastrophe. We start thinking about everything we're going to lose. We start thinking about the fear of losing this thing or this person, right? And it blocks tapasya. It blocks the true work of letting the fire burn. But when we can just spot the energy and the emotions and go to that field, right? And let those feelings, let those emotions come through you, let those floodgates open, right? We liberate energy. We practice no tension. To do this, my friends, it's about surrendering in faith, realizing, wow, I have this higher view that I am limitless, that beautiful things are on my horizon, that letting go of this thing is literally the best thing that happened, right? It's surrendering in faith and reframing. Oh, I'm not losing this person. Our relationship is transforming. I'm not losing this person. I am now free to fully connect with myself. I'm now free to fully connect with life in a new way, to develop a new relationship, to develop a new crystallization of reality, right? No tension. Furthermore, what I want to say here is we must simply learn to deal with the emotion and the energy in the conscious field, right? Thoughts are endless. Based off where your energy and emotions are, your thoughts are going to reflect it. If you're feeling deep fear, anger, regret, guilt, shame, your thoughts are going to recapitulate that feeling to you, okay? It's going to create this feedback loop that just continues momentum. And then you're going to act out of a place of reactivity to attachment. This pushes all the good things away in your life. Reaction to attachment, reaction to distraction. Instead of just sitting and dealing with the field, with the energy, having emotional feng shui per se, right? We're giving it meaning, and then we're thinking these endless thoughts of how to fix things, how to make things right, of how this is a catastrophe, of how bad this is, giving it all these meanings. We must simply learn to deal with the energy and emotion. Okay. When we learn how to practice no tension correctly, we learn how to dissolve what we are. Let's say you had this intention, you started this beautiful business, you gave it a lot of attention, you gave it a lot of energy, a lot of focus, right? Maybe for a year or 2 years or 3 years. And then it's like, oh, it's no longer serving me. It's no longer fun or invigorating, or, you know, it's no longer working out. Like, can we listen to that cycle of karma? Can we listen to that rhythm of life and be like, okay, it's time to dissolve. Something better is coming. Something greater is in store, right? That's going into that no tension place, and going through and dealing with the energy and the emotions is what returns you home. Okay, I want you to remember that you were once enamored by life. That life, the mysteries, the curiosity, all the different things to go see and do, all the wonders under the sun, all the people to meet, businesses to build, creations to have, you know, all of that is reality. That's a view. That's a perspective. Reality itself is beautiful. Your attachments create degrees of separation from the beauty. Okay. So by going through no tension, going through the energy field, we are liberating energy to return back to homeostasis, to return back home inside of ourselves. And from that baseline, we can truly listen to the compass inside of us, to the instinct inside of us, to the call to something higher, to something greater. We can truly listen in this space of zero, in the emptiness. And for sacred warriors out there, this is about breathwork. This is about accepting the lack, accepting the void, being where you are. You see, the void is consciousness. The void is consciousness. This form, everything you're identified with, everything you feel, is the manifestation, the glow of your light, right? We must learn to not identify with the glow, but learn to identify with the void, per se, to return home. He who cannot die cannot be reborn, right? So through this process, through like utter faith, my friends, faith every single morning, every single day, just giving it all up, just surrendering it. I can make so many videos on what I'm talking about here, and maybe I will. Drop a comment below if you want me to go deeper. But returning home with that kind of faith, right? That kind of surrenderment, that kind of dealing with the emotions and energy to liberate your conscious field back into its 0 point is gonna create the space in your life to really feel your compass, really hear the whispers of the heart, the whispers of the muse, per se, so that you can create new vision, new intention. You can create new burning desire for the new form you're creating, the new identity, the new life that you're stepping into, right? And then you can go up here, build your fuel and give it attention. Now that you're free, now that your attention's free because you're no longer trapped in attachment to a relationship that you think you love, right, but is not serving you. That relationship is holding you back in so many ways if you got real with yourself, if you reframed it and see, what do I get out of this really and truly? Or maybe it's all relationships to business, you know, to things in your life, to substances, to people, right? When you have liberated your attachments, your attention is free, and you have your inner compass. So what your heart wants to do is what you want to do, right? And then you can give attention to this new form you're creating. Maybe you go all in on the fitness, on the breath work, on the development, and you crystallize this new form, right? And then you're a little bit better at letting go because you've practiced before. We have to go through these cycles over and over and over through our karmic paths in life, my friends. I know a lot's coming at you in this video. Let's say our true purpose is right here in the center, right? We have these concentric rings that we must move through, these karmic rings that we must move through and alchemize to reach the gold of alchemy. The true purpose, alignment with your greatest work, alignment with your highest destiny, right here. X marks the spot. Okay, let's say we get to this first ring and it's a relationship to help us, you know, develop emotional maturity, help us develop our social skills and all these things, right? And then like this relationship's, you know, the purpose behind it starts to wane. Can we let go of that? Can we sit in the unknown? Can we practice tapas? I don't even know how to say this word, but can we practice no tension, right? Can we have the strength? Can we have the conviction in something higher, that higher destiny, that solar glory for us? Can we have conviction in that? right? To let it go and then realize, oh, you know what? I want to really focus on my, let's say, career. And you get into a career of counseling, right? And you start loving working with kids and doing these things, and you really crystallize that form. And then a couple years later down the road, you know, it's like, oh, that's no longer like invigorating to me. I no longer, this is not filling me up, you know, maybe I'm called to something else. And maybe it comes immediately. Oh, I want to be a coach, or I want to be a personal, you know, counselor for this type of person and work online for myself, or whatever it is. Or maybe you have to sit in the unknown again. However it comes, my friends, you must go through no tension. You must have fearlessness to face the attachment. Fearlessness comes from conviction in something higher, comes from supreme faith. Conviction in a higher destiny for you. Conviction that the universe has got your back. Okay? And you move towards your central purpose. If you can go through the solve et coagula process of alchemy, if you can crystallize and dissolve over and over again. This happens in the micro and the macro. It happens within doing a project, and it happens on the project itself. This is the rhythm of life. This is the law of rhythm. This is all Hermetics right here, my friends. Okay? Furthermore, what I want to talk about is fearlessness. See it down here. This is the supreme virtue of a sacred warrior, my friends. Faith and fearlessness. Faith and fearlessness. This life for a sacred warrior is going to be a rocky road. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You're going to have to be a pioneer of a new way. You're going to have to learn things and apply things that your parents never dreamed of, right? Fearlessness and faith and the road of uncertainty and the road of the sacred warrior. You know, like, give me the hardest mountain to climb so I can be the greatest man I can be at the top of that kind of attitude, okay? Fearlessness, my friends, comes from connection to a greater vision, comes from faith, comes from knowing yourself and having self-reliance. You can do a fearless meditation. When you're feeling a lot of fear, you see fear is the holding pattern. This is why fearlessness is essential. I've made many videos on it. Look up Reality Files Warriorship or Reality Files Fear. I have many videos on fear and fearlessness, but fear creates a holding pattern. Oh, I'm scared of letting go of this addiction, or I'm terrified of losing this person, or I'm terrified of, like poverty. And like, fear creates a holding pattern which you're not willing to dissolve. If you have fear, you're in a fear holding pattern, right? And you can't dissolve that, so you can't be reborn. So you can't really align with your highest truth because you have fear, right? That fear must be transmuted into courage, which I call fearlessness, because that's truly what it is. You see, fear and courage in the law of polarity, touching on some more Hermetics, is, fear and courage are the same exact emotion at different ends of the spectrum. When you're feeling fear, you can really sit with that fear, let the emotion go through you, let the energy move through you, right? And as it's waning, you can transmute that fear into courage. You can transmute that by really meditating and sitting with and breathing into your strongest self, by breathing into conviction in your path, in the support on your path and what's coming. You can practice fearlessness on a daily basis, my friends. And fearlessness and conviction are the two things you really need, right? Combined with faith to go back home. You want to return home? You want to go back to that home inside yourself where energy was limitless and abundant, where your heart and mind were in sync, where you felt the call so strongly? We can return home, my friends. We must learn to dissolve. And the better we get at this cycle, the better we become as alchemists, the better we get at transmuting the laws of rhythm and the laws of polarity, the better we get at become as alchemists, the closer we get to reaching the gold at the center, the closer we get to aligning with our true calling and our true destiny. So, my friends, be a sacred alchemist, be a sacred warrior out here. Thanks for watching. This video was on letting go and no tension and quite a few other things. If you guys want to find more videos like this, type in Reality Files Manifestation. There's a whole playlist on the Hermetics of Manifestation, on the Trinity of Manifestation, to go deeper into this kind of knowledge. Furthermore, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, if you think that would be valuable for this point in your life, there's a link in the description to apply for a free one-on-one with me. Lastly, please drop a comment if you want to see more like this. I could really dive deep into these blueprints I'm talking about here and kind of refine them. So much could be said about this alchemical mess I just put up on the board, but it's also alchemical beauty, splendor, my friends. Aim for your splendor. The time is now. The time is now for you to aim at what you truly want, to let go of that which is holding you back. Attachments are blocking the manifestation. Open the space in your life for the greater manifestation to enter. That's how you become magnetic. That's how you live into your dreams. That's how you usher in the life, the well-being, the abundance you are meant to have. Thanks for being here. I'm Kristian. Peace out.